Tracking your arcs and spacing in animation is a very important practice that can help improve the appeal and readability of your work. 3D animators often rely on motion trails to help with this, but maybe there's a better way. What I like to do when I polish my animation is play back the animation over and over, changing my focus around the character as I go to see if everything is reading as it should be. If there are parts that feel janky or poppy or just feel like the flow is broken, then I'll go in and track that part more closely. So I first rely on my eye to catch what I feel, and then go in closer, frame by frame, to analyze what the issue is. Motion trails are often used to track motion in 3D animation, and they do mostly work quite well. They mark a point in space over a sequence of frames and display a representative arc. There's even some fancy heat map colors to show you your spacing in Animbot. Very fancy. This seems like a great way to clean up your animation and add that final polish that will take your work from good to great. But personally, I don't use them very often. I prefer a way that isn't so buggy. Not that that's the point of this video, but they are buggy, aren't they? Like most things in 3D animation, it's a good idea to treat things as if they're 2D, like posing to camera. Our work may be 3D to us, but to the viewer, it's still a flat 2D image. So don't track hidden joints in 3D space that are hidden within geometry that our viewers won't even see. Don't track control curves that our viewers won't see. You should instead track the lines in your animation. Lines on the silhouette, but also internal lines that can be used as reference points for tracking rotation. We can do this by flipping through our frames and going by eye, or also using some software to draw over our animation and ideally ghost it, though this isn't essential, just easier. Some people even use a dry white marker on their monitor. Tracking lines, silhouette, shapes is much easier than tracking small points within geometry that we can't even see. There's also the added benefit of training your animation eye. Let's look at this example. So we just want to close Maya, go to youtube.com/owenferny and just hit the subscribe button. Oh wait, no, that's a different step. Let's use the knees as an example. When you play back an animation and you're looking at the knees, the things that are moving most in terms of screen real estate are not the knees, it's the upper and lower legs. So we want to track these in order to clean up the legs because they're the biggest things and therefore easiest to track. But cleaning the knee spacing does that, right? So I'll just do that. Well, no. See, cleaning the knee spacing cleans up the translation of that joint. The problem with this is that the knee joint is affected by the upper leg and lower leg. So you can see here that I've just fixed the arc of the knee there. So the knee itself is not actually looking too bad, but when we take a look at the line of the bottom foot, we're kind of hitting a wall quite hard on this frame right here. Boom. See how we kind of stick? So this really wants to be more of a, just a little more ease in there, really. And then we need to take a look at the top and see how that is. Got a little jank in there. I think that's much better. So the momentum now goes through the lower leg properly and also the upper leg. They kind of contract a little through here. It's kind of looking at all three parts, the knee, the foot and the upper leg all at the same time, making sure that we're cleaning them all up at the same time. So we don't get any sticks like that even if the knee joint is working. And so while I'm cleaning this up by eye, I'm kind of looking at the spacing of the lower leg here, but also at the same time looking at the knee and the line of the upper thigh, but also using this line here as a reference point for the rotation. So I'm just going back and forth, making sure that all of those lines are all working just how I want them. I've got nice spacing, we don't pop too much. Here there's obviously a pop. I just want to adjust that. feel like this is working much nicer now. It's much less poppy. I'm feeling like this knee is going back a little too much. So let's just keep it going forward the whole time. And now we have a pretty clean spacing through there on all of those body parts, and I haven't really looked in the graph editor. The graph editor might reveal some jank, especially in the rotation of the foot, I'm gonna guess. But let's take a little look. Actually looks mostly okay. I'm seeing maybe that come down a little too fast. We want something more like this. I'm looking at the rotation of the upper thigh there. Just this line is working pretty nicely. I'm using this line here and this line here as reference points for the rotation of the foot. A good rule of thumb, but remember, there are no rules in animation, is that tracking a line on the silhouette tracks the translation, and tracking an internal line tracks the rotation. I'm mostly happy with this, to be honest. And it's not to say don't use the knee joint. I'm definitely referring to the knee joint through here. It's kind of what really ties everything together, and if that's not working, you know something's wrong. But you just need to pay attention to both the upper leg and the lower leg. Let's take a look at what we had before and what we have now, just in terms of that front leg. I think we can see that the spacing is improved. It feels a lot more polished and less poppy. And where before the knee was almost working just fine, really making sure that we're paying attention to tracking the middle of the upper thigh, the silhouette of the thigh, the calf, all the different parts of the foot and the knee all at once, and doing passes over all of them, making sure that they're all correct rather than just relying on one knee joint, has really helped to solidify the polish of that leg. Tracking the lines in your animation like a 2D animator would gives you a much more successful result than tracking a single point in space with a motion trail, with the potential added benefit of training your animation eye too. So try doing this and see how it works for you. And if it does, consider dropping a comment below, subscribing, sharing this with a friend. I really need it.
I need to beat my friend Owen. He has overtaken me. Please help. Please help. Help. Oh.